Hi there, welcome to the Player YouTube channel, where we don't just do car reviews, we do tons of other stuff as well. You ready? Run the VT. This is how a car should sound. Listen to this.
I didn't really push it either. I was just having a bit of fun. Oh really?
I think it makes a good word.
Alright, we'll go with mate. Nice to see you.
Show us your big chopper, your helicopter.
So here we are, the Morgan Roadster. Hey guys, guess what? It's another morning here out in sunny France.
Hi there, and welcome to this week's Player car review. And if you haven't already guessed yet, I'm driving something a little bit special. This is the new Cupra Born. You're probably wondering, Cupra and Born, they're two strange names maybe to a lot of you. However, it's not such a strange name to me. Cupra used to be known as Seat Sport. That might give it a little bit of a giveaway there. And in 1985 changed their name to Cupra. And they started producing performance versions of Seat's road cars. Not only did they do that, they've gone on to win 11 world racing championships in rallying and touring cars. So these guys know exactly what they're talking about. And the reason I'm telling you a little bit about this is because although this car gets its name from an area of Barcelona in Spain, it's actually probably more akin to an area in Wolfsburg in Germany, because I'm actually driving an ID.3 from Volkswagen. Now, we reviewed the ID.3 a number of weeks ago and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I didn't think there could be anything better, to be honest. Not at the moment, currently on the market. If you want to watch that review, click up there now. I really enjoyed driving that car, as you will see if you go and watch it. However, stay tuned if you're more interested in the Cupra, because this is something a little bit different. And I want to show you around it and give you an idea exactly what the boys at Cupra can do to their first foray into the electric market. It may well be a VW ID.3 underneath, but it definitely doesn't behave like a VW ID.3 when it's out on the road. Let's check out what it's actually like. Let's get around it, let's get in the back, let's take it out on a road test and give you our evaluation of the new Cupra Born. You know what? I can always tell when I'm driving a good-looking car, because people on the side of the road actually stop and look. Or I've even had people videoing this car with their phones. So many people have come up to me and said, "What is that? It's an unbelievable car." And I've had to tell them, it's actually an ID.3, but doesn't it look nice? Oh yes. But it's not just an ID.3. As I said in the intro piece, this is completely Cuprified. That's the only way I can describe it. So you've got 6 choices in colour. If the entry-level car impresses you, it's grey and it comes with the colour. So you don't have to pay any extra. But any of the other colours, you're going to pay between £560 and £840, depending on what you go for. I love this. This is Aurora Blue. It's really different, and with that sort of bronze finish with the logos and all the sort of key working around the front on the grille there, I think it really sets it off nicely. Another thing you'll notice with this car, a lot lower, a hell of a lot lower around the front here, far more aggressive. It looks completely different to a VW ID.3. It's got its own identity here, looking really absolutely lovely. With the rims as well, choices, 18s, 19s, 20s. These are 20s, and on each of those sizes there are 3 different choices in style, in design itself. The sky's the limit with this car. I love the way Cupra have got hold of it and completely changed it, not only dynamically but aesthetically as well. That's what you do when you're looking at a very good looking woman. You give her a bit of respect for that beautiful look, you know, and I'm just looking at this car going, yeah, I mean, that is something, isn't it? Look at that. From the diffuser down at the bottom to the aero on the top here, that massive spoiler. I mean, the whole thing, perfect. That is just beautiful, stunning. In actual fact, I'm applauding the beauty on this car. Whoever designed this, you need a medal. Seriously, look at it. You've got this lovely big spoiler across the top. You've got the brake light built in. Nice, short, squat little screen at the back here. It's a floaty screen, and it's all privacy glass around the back. Makes it look dead cool, keeps it cooler in the summer. At the same time, this big spoiler on the top here is throwing all the muck and the rain off, and it's also keeping it low down and improving the aerodynamics on this car. You've got a little wash wipe on the back here. Who cares about that? This, all the way around here, is LED, the whole section of lights at the back. It even says Born in the lights there. It says Born in the lights. Love that. At night, this car just looks even better than what you're seeing now. I'm loving the logo, that Transformers logo in there. That's what I've affectionately named it. And the Cupra badge. I know I normally moan when they put these big badges across the back here, but it just suits it. Everything suits it. This car is simply probably the best looking hot hatch I've seen in the last 10 years. When you're designing a car, it's the little details that matter, the finer details. And if you look at this car, the detail here is in the side skirt. That has completely changed the whole look of this car. I know it's slightly lower, but just adding little bits like that and sections like this, even with a decal on it, it just gives it that edge, makes it look completely different to the car that it used to be. With the Cupra Born, there's a choice of 3 different trim levels. You've got V1, V2 and V3. Now V1 is the equivalent to VW's ID.3 Life. That's their entry car. You get 18-inch alloys, you get LED daytime running lights, LED headlights. It comes with a 58 kilowatt battery, which powers the equivalent of a 204 brake horsepower motor. Gives you a range of around 260 miles, and it will cost you from £35,000. For an extra £1,000, starting at £36,000, you can get yourself trim level V2. That will give you the bigger 19-inch alloys. You get a heads-up display, you get electronically heated front seats, you also get privacy glass round at the back, and you can opt for a bigger 230 brake horsepower motor, which will bring the 0 to 60 time down to 6.5 seconds. If you fancy treating yourself to the top of the range of V3 trim level, then you're going to be spending in excess of 38,000 UK pounds. But hey ho, check it out. This is one hell of a unique car. It's quite individual when it's out on the road. I think it's worth every penny. I spec'd this car up earlier and it came out at around £45,000 with absolutely everything on it that you could literally bolt onto this car. I think it's good value for money. With V3 you do get the 20-inch alloys as standard. You also get heated and massaged seats at the front, and don't forget you will get that option of the 204 or the 230 brake horsepower motor. For the range anxietists amongst you, there is also a 77 kilowatt battery available with this car. It's going to give you a range of around 340 miles, but you're going to be paying in excess of £40,000 for that one. I think the Cupra Born could be the car if you are just about to become a new father, or you've got a small young family and your partner has said to you, you know what, we've got to have a sensible car, but you still inside, you want to get out and enjoy the road and have fun with it. But on the other side, you've got to please the partner and make sure the kids are looked after. I think this car could be the answer to your prayers, because inside here you've got 385 litres of boot space, which is about the same as a Golf GTI. You're going to get at least 5, maybe even 6 carry-on suitcases in here. So you're going to cover it if you're going to the airport and you've got to take your kids, and as long as you, well, you could do 2 large suitcases and 2 little ones, one each for the little ones. Get where I'm going with this? Or if you're going shopping, there's shopping bag holders in there. That's going to keep the other half happy. And there's also a 12-volt adapter in here. So if you need to pump up tyres for bikes or pump up dinghies or inflatables, you can do all that from the back. So you're ticking the boxes when it comes to practicality and familyality. That's my new word. You've got a 60-40 split here as well. So if you do need to pop down the, you know, the DIY store because her indoors or him indoors has asked you to, then obviously you can pop those down and get your larger items in there as well. You do unfortunately get a little bit of a lip in there, but we're not going to go into that. Look, all in all, where I'm going with this is, not only does this look nice, not only does it look, you know, funky, young and cool, but at the same time, it's going to please the other half and you'll get away with it as a family car. First up, before I climb in and show you in the back for the passengers, look at the rake on this door. This is brilliant. If you're putting a baby seat in here, you know, a child seat, it's going to be so easy. Or if you're giving a lift to elderly grandparents, you know, people like that, they're going to be able to get in and out of here easy as well. It's a nice high roof line as well. Getting in and out, you can actually use the handle there. Well, it's actually a piece that goes through the seat there. I don't think it's an actual handle, but you can use it to steady yourself getting in. Now, the one thing I loved about the ID.3 was the amount of space in here, the height, everything. It just all works. Look at the distance between my knees and the seat itself. Superb. Tons and tons of room. The amenities in the back here, well, a little bit limited when it comes to the airflow. There is no aircon in the back here. You do get 2 USB chargers. So again, as the kids start to grow up and they're playing on their iPads or whatever, or their phones in the back, they're going to be able to charge. There's going to be no arguments. You're going to get out on the motorway doing your journey and you can let them plug in and recharge. Speaking of baby seats, going back to that, you do have ISOFIX points in here. These are the Poppy Downy ones. They don't actually pull out, which is good because they give a nice finish, a nice end sort of finish to the look and everything. But at the same time, you're not going to lose them if they pop out. The kids put them in their mouths or they throw them away or whatever. So you're going to end up having to spend more money on a new set when you come to part with the car. You do get, with this car, a central armrest, and I insist on these. I think when you've got a family car, you do need this because the kids want to put their drinks somewhere. There's plenty of space to put drinks here. It's just really nice sitting in the back here. It's a proper armrest as well. And another thing, a real bonus with this car as well, you get, look at this, you get the ski hatch. Here in the UK, we call it the B&Q hatch because it's perfect for when you go down to B&Q on a Saturday. You know that, lads, don't you? Go down to get your wood, go and get your bits and pieces. Sorry, if you're watching this from overseas, we don't really do skiing over here. It's more about getting wood from the DIY store. But this is perfect for it because it's got all the distance through there. Now, if you are overseas and you're watching this review, you can get your skis through here and you can definitely get a single, probably 2 snowboards through here, with or without the bindings, totally up to you. There we go, look at that, versatility. It's packaged up in a lovely finish as well. This, I definitely think, is a wipe easy, you know, fabric. Again, thinking outside of the box here, going for the more of the family and thinking ice cream spills, drink spills, wipe it off. Lovely. Good finish. What's it like in the middle? Well, there's no transmission tunnel, so you're going to easily slide across here. It wilts easily. Again, nice. In actual fact, that's comfortable for a middle seat. You're definitely going to get 3 adults here, maybe not for a long time, but long enough to give you a lift home from the restaurant or the pub or where you've been out for the night when you've actually managed to escape without the kids for the evening and had a night out. There you go. So this car pretty much has it all. Charging your Cupra Born couldn't be simpler or safer. The charging ports are located beneath where the conventional filler cap is. You just push it there on the side and it pops open just like any normal filler cap. And you've got 2 charging ports. You've got an AC and a DC charger. Both of these are IP68 rated. That basically means they're safe as houses. So no matter whether it's raining, if you've got wet hands or anything, you're not going to get any electric shocks off of this. So don't worry about it. The car comes with a couple of extra cables. You've got one cable for sort of when you're out and about, you want to give it a little top up. Say you're staying at friends for a few hours, you just plug it into the 13 amp wall socket. That will take 3 days to charge your battery, so you can't rely on that one. The other one is for when you're pulling into a service station, you need a cable, and that comes with the car. So both of those you get as part of the entry-level price. All good stuff so far, I hear you say. Right, if you've got the 77 kilowatt battery installed in this car, you can charge it on the 125 kilowatt super fast chargers. From 10 to 80% will take around 30 minutes. which isn't bad. If you've got the 58 kilowatt battery, you can only charge it at 100 kilowatts per hour. And again, from 10 to 80% will take around about 30 minutes. But don't forget, with the 77 kilowatt, you've got the extended range. So you're getting more bang for your buck, basically. On a home 7 kilowatt charger, 77 kilowatt will take around about 12 hours to charge, 10 to 80% again. And then if you've got the 58 kilowatt, it's going to take around 9 hours. All in all, it's a nice, simple, safe and easy to use system. Inside up front, even entry-level Cupra Borns get a decent 12-inch TFT touchscreen that comes with sat-nav. You'll also notice you get a reverse parking camera and you get beepers front and rear, which is brilliant. You get a nice little 5-inch digital cluster here, which gives you your range and shows you your speed. Additionally to that, you get lane keeping and cruise control. And you will find in this car, you get a DAB radio, you get Bluetooth, and you get Android mirroring, as well as Apple Play. That's wireless. If all that gets too much and you're getting a little bit heated under the collar in here, every car comes with a decent aircon system. The only way to appreciate the Cupra Born is to get it out on the road, and you're going to feel the difference between this and the Volkswagen ID.3 immediately. The suspension is completely different, the steering is different, the braking is different, the power very, very similar, but it's all controlled in a really nice package. On this car, you've got 4 different modes. So when you go into the mode section, you push the little picture of the car, you go up to the left-hand side and you'll go into mode session. You've got range, which gives you your maximum range, which is what you would normally drive this car on. Comfort on longer journeys, I would suggest you put it into comfort when you go out on the long journeys on the motorways, things like that. And then we've got the best bit of all, we've got the performance setting, which when you hit performance, this gives this car all of its battery, it gives all of its power, generating everything. You take it out of your B mode, your regen mode, put it into normal drive mode and just floor it. And this car, immediately you could put a smile on that face. You don't even need to hang on to this car. This car is so planted. Look at it go. These S-bends, it just really feels sure of itself. And I feel confident with it as well. I know I can throw it into a bend. The grip's there. The actual feeling, in actual fact, I'm having to slow back a little bit. 0 to 60 time on this car with the bigger battery and the 230 brake horsepower motor is sub 6 seconds easily, but 5.5 seconds. Top speed is limited. I'm gonna have to back off a little bit there. Top speed is limited to 100 miles an hour, which I think in a way is a safety factor that you're going to need when you're driving this car, because you can really get carried away. You feel this car is a performance car through and through, and just a total different feeling to the ID.3. I'm loving the modes on this. I think that is just it's a lovely thing to have. It's just a shame, at the end of the day, you haven't got the roads here in the UK to enjoy this car as much as you could. I mean, you could almost this could almost be a track car. Let's give it another black down here. It's got an absolutely beautiful, I know it's quite bumpy down here, I know these roads very well, but as you can see, it's quite hard on the suspension. Absolutely incredible, guys. It's a superb car to drive. Installs you with confidence and the ability that it has, even on the late braking on these corners into a hairpin, pull it round like that. You can feel the back wanting to pull out. We're now coming back over the bridge. Look at that, it's took off. Look, oh wow. I love this car. Cupra, I love you. When it comes to range and economy on this particular car, it's not bad. It's doing pretty well. Now I know what you're saying, yeah, but it's an electric car, I've got a bit of range anxiety, I want to save the world, I want to help the polar bears, but there's a lot of hassle. Well, I've got to agree with you, there is a different way of thinking when it comes to owning an electric car. And believe you me, I'm one of the skeptics out there. I've looked at the overall infrastructure and I can't see this country being able to cope with the amount of electric cars that are coming out, for a number of years. However, that is only when we come to talk about long distance journeys. When you're charging at home, we've all got the capability to do that. For the sake of getting a 7 kilowatt home charger fitted, and then when you get home, just popping this car on charge for a few hours, is going to, you know, suffice to most people's needs. Well, let me give you a little bit maybe of convincing, you know, with today's current prices for petrol and diesel, for example. Let's give an idea of the economy of this car. So the way we work it out per mile per gallon is per kilowatt per hour. And this car tells me I'm doing over 4 kilowatts per hour, which is not bad. It's okay, it's around town. I've had cars that do a lot better than that, but let's base it on a nice flat 4, because that's very easy to work out. For every kilowatt per hour, you'll get 40 miles per gallon. So we are talking 4 per hour, that's 4 times 40, that's 160 per gallon. Now let's talk about the price of that, because that becomes more important. I know it's great, it's doing 160 to the gallon, but what does it cost to run? This is a 58 kilowatt battery in this car. It's got the equivalent of a 230 horsepower motor as well. You have to bear all this in mind. But the 58 kilowatt battery is the crux of the whole thing. It's no difference to a 58 litre petrol tank. So when you're filling it up, it takes 58 kilowatts, costing 19 pennies per kilowatt. That's the highest tariff from Octopus Energy that they're offering at the moment. There are other tariffs at 4 pennies, 4 pence per unit if you charge your vehicle between 11:30 at night and 4:30 in the morning. Now, if that's not for you, just pay the 19 pence. I'm going top of the range here. Working out, it's £11 to fill a full tank up. How much would it cost to fill up a 58 litre petrol tank, for example? Well, I can tell you now, it costs £116 because it's almost £2 per litre. So there's your difference. You're getting 160 miles to the gallon and you're getting it for £11. No brainer, really, isn't it? But then I hear you say, yeah, but supposing I want to go to, you know, I want to do 250 miles. Well, this car will do 250 miles when it's new. It's got a range of 260 miles in actual fact. This car in particular has now only got a range of 240 miles. And you say, well, now what's the difference? Well, this car's done 10,000 miles and it's been used and abused by journalists. But you have to allow for a bit of battery depletion, bit of battery depreciation, shall we say. You know, like when you buy your mobile phone, the brand new mobile phone, you get it home, wow, you don't need to charge it, you know, it's almost like showing off to people. I haven't charged it for 2 days, wow. But within a year, it's like twice a day you're putting it on charge. As soon as you get into work, you're plugging it in because the cells die. That's just lithium, that's what happens to it. The good thing is, when it comes to any of the VW Group's cars, on the warranty, they will cover the car to a maximum of 70%. So if this battery goes beyond 70% of its battery health within its warranty period, they'll replace it. As simple as that. So simple as that. Now, what I can say, this car it's done a few miles now, and it's only lost a fraction of its battery level. So it's holding it. And another good thing about this car, which I've noticed, when you drive out in the morning, it says 240 miles on the clock. That's what you get. Unless you drive it like a complete lunatic. If you're putting it in performance mode and you're hammering it down the road at 100 miles an hour, no, it's not going to do those to the gate. It's going to be like a combustion engine. You know, if you were driving a combustion engine like that, it wouldn't do 45, 50 to the gallon. It just wouldn't. So treat it exactly the same. So now you see where I'm coming from. So it might make a little bit of sense. I think at the moment, the way to treat these electric cars is as a second car. It's got to be, because, you know, we know there aren't enough charging stations out there to cope with all of these electric cars that are coming out. There will be eventually, I hope, but for the time being, you've got to treat this as a second car. And as a second car, this car is absolutely perfect because it's a family car. I've been using it. I've been plugging it in when I get home at night after I've done my, you know, my days working for the player. I go home, I plug it in. So I'm never letting it go down to 5 or 10%. So I don't have to give it a huge whack of a charge. It goes back at around 60 or 70%, tops it back up to about 90, 100% again. Come out in the morning, it's all ready to go. And trust me, you know, unless you're going to be doing a couple of 100 miles or 400 miles, whatever you're doing, then even then, this car will plan the route for you as well. It'll tell you when it thinks you should be stopping. So quite literally, I think the range anxiety has I've started to lose it now. I've started to realise that this car could be a really good second car alternative. The Cupra Born comes with a reasonable warranty. It's 3 years or 60,000 miles, whichever comes first. You do get a decent battery warranty with one of these cars. It's 8 years or 100,000 miles. And don't forget what I said earlier about the battery depletion and the health check, that the VW group will look after that battery for you. Mentioned all that earlier. You get a 3-year paint warranty and a 12-year anti-corrosion warranty. Doubt you'll ever be looking at any of those, because this group of cars have always been synonymously good when it comes to their metal and their paint work. So doubt you're going to be claiming on any of those. If all that wasn't enough, you are covered with a 2-year roadside assistance package with all new cars as well. So all in all, you're pretty much covered. Don't forget, if you do sell the car, then any of the warranties can be transferred over to the new owner within the warranty period. And if you've just bought one of these cars second hand and you want to increase or top up the warranty, that can be done as well. You just need to check with your Cupra dealership as to exactly the costs involved with that. One thing I will mention is you will need to keep up a regular service agreement with the guys to make sure that your warranties are all spick and span, so to speak. So again, you're not going to be paying out as much as a combustion engine service on this car because it's got a lot less moving parts. But you need to check with your Cupra salesperson as to the costs and the plans that are currently available. So there you have it, guys. That was the Cupra Born. What a car! Just look at it. It's absolutely stunning. Finally, a manufacturer has decided to produce an electric car, an electric hot hatch, no less, rather than a shopping trolley, which is the majority of what electric cars seem to be used for these days. I've really enjoyed driving this car. It ticks the boxes on every level, on the price, on the versatility, the familyability that I mentioned, the new word that I'm using, and at the same time, it just, you know, for an electric car, it makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. And that is very unusual because I'm the biggest petrol head going. And for that, this car to do that to me means it's pretty special. I suggest you get down to your Cupra sales room and give one a go. Take one out on the road and see what you think of this fantastic car from Cupra. Well worth a drive. You've been watching me, AJ, on the Player YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as we've enjoyed filming it, because it's just been a ball of fun for the last week. It really has. Don't forget, like, subscribe and comment. You've got any comments, leave them down there and one of the team will get back to you in due course. If you want to subscribe, lovely, please subscribe, please do so. But don't forget, leave the bell sign unchecked. You'll get regular updates on all the bits and pieces that we do. As you saw at the beginning of this video, we don't just do car reviews. Oh no, we do lots of other things. If you could give us a big thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. Don't get a bonus, don't get any extra pay, but we get a pat on the back from the bosses and the sponsors to say job well done. Because if you thumbs up, that means you like what you've been watching, and I'd really appreciate that. In return for that, I'd like to offer you something for nothing, and it's worth something for nothing. Tell me, you're going to love this. It's called The Player, because we're not just the YouTube channel, we're part of a much bigger organisation. The Player is a men's bookazine. It's basically a magazine for men that comes out on the frequency of a magazine, but it's a hardback book. You can't have the hardback book. I'm sorry, but they cost £100 each. But what you can have is the equivalent online. And it's exactly the same, it's no different. It's 220 pages of everything us guys absolutely love. There's, like, you know, motorbikes in there, there's boats, there's car reviews, there's interviews, there's jet skis, there's restaurants, there's golf, there's holiday. It's just all in there, guys. 220 pages of it. You're gonna love it. It's completely free of charge, and all you've got to do is head over to www.theplayer.co.uk. One sec, pull it in here now. I'll leave it down there a few seconds so you can memorise it. Just when you get onto the web page there, go to the top, you'll see register. Now, before you say to me, AJ, I haven't got time to give you all my details, all my bank balance here, my home address, I don't need that. All I need is your name and your email. That's it. And then you can either download it or you can thumb through it online. It's absolutely fantastic. It's as simple as that. That's all you've got to do. Guys, over to you now. Thanks for watching. I will catch you next week with something different.